What's up, guys? It's Rick here on Flip with Rick. And today we're talking all about the daily schedule for a wholesaler in 2025. Now, this is actually a lot of info, and I kind of decided last minute to go ahead and use our trusty whiteboard. So I will try to write as legible as possible. And I want to walk you through day one of a wholesaler all the way to, in my opinion, the most advanced wholesaler. Because God knows I've lived in every seat, and I'm in the driver's seat every day in one capacity, either talking to you guys about a deal, working on my own deals, working on plans to scale it. And most importantly, most people go, hey, Rick, what does your average day look like when you're doing wholesaling? I'm here to tell you, if you do it correctly, it's actually really, really boring. Anyone who tells you they have a super exciting wholesaling life, I promise you, it's not as sexy as you think it is. So we're going to jump through it. I'm going to go through basically the three phases. And most importantly, we're going to touch on the marketing and the acquisitions part, which everyone's going to need help. So do me a favor. If you have a question, use the comments, ask a question there. That is the best place to get it answered. Make a friend. We only talk about wholesaling here. It's because it's what we do. It's what I'm best at. And honestly, everything else is kind of a waste of time if I'm going to give you an opinion about it. So you might as well get the best from the Ginns, and that's what I'm here to do today. So once again, we're going to talk all about the daily schedule of wholesaling, and I want you to pay attention. And the main thing that I want you to understand is we are going to avoid anything that keeps us busy. And what does busy mean? It's simple. Busy means you're broke. And the wealthiest people, the people with the highest net worth I've ever met in my lifetime, honestly have the least amount of crap going on in their life. They have such clarity what they want. And I want you to understand this for wholesaling, because a lot of you guys think it's, the busier I am, the more money I make. Actually, the busier you are, the more broke you are, because you don't know what you're doing. And when you don't know what you're doing, you try to look busy. It's like trying to look rich. You're never going to get there doing that. So what we're going to do today is identify anything that we deem busy, because I don't want to make you broke. And I find most people's wholesaling activities on a daily basis is mostly busy work. It looks good, but at the end of the day, it's not going to really move the needle at all. So if we understand that, we are going to avoid anything that keeps us busy. Now, I'm going to test you a little bit. I'm going to throw down some things that are just busy to see if you catch it. And if you don't catch it, we need to talk about your wholesaling. So make sure you're using the comments. Introduce yourself up. What's up, guys? Awesome. So let's jump into it. So first and foremost, what I'm going to do, I think, on this left-hand side is I'm going to put down, let's see, we can put down all the different ways to get the best lists. So let's just call it, we'll call this prospects. And what I'd like to do now, you guys can do it in the comments. We're going to brainstorm every known way to get prospects for wholesaling. Now, there's no right or wrong answers. We are going to clump some of these in together. So in the beginning, what we'll do is we'll start off, give you examples here. Government lists. And if you guys don't know which ones those incorporate, just go over to our free school group. And I believe there's 9 that are incorporated in there. And to save us a little bit of time, I'm not going to write every one of them out. Pre-foreclosures, eviction lists, tax delinquencies, code violations, water shutoffs, arrest records, divorce list. The list just keeps going on and on. These are what we call your government list. Now, I know it means that kind of coin phrase these. It's kind of funny because we're the only people on social media that actually talks about it. Why? Because it works. The real reason you don't hear other people talk about it is because they can't make money off of it. God forbid they give you a technique that actually makes you money as a new wholesaler, then they wouldn't get full credit for it. So I don't know why those are constantly avoided, but government list. Next one, driving for dollars. Period. Now, what I like to do this is like natural ascension on how you guys are going to get your motivated seller list. But what I like to do is if I start a wholesaling, I got to find a way to brainstorm to get all my prospects. If you don't start out with this, don't worry about the rest of your day because you're just going to be busy because you don't know what to do. So let us know in the list which ones you're going to put on there, and we'll just rip through these because the sooner you do it, the better off. Obviously, we're going to do what we call niche lists. Niche list is basically any list that you specialize in, that you've gotten traction, you've gotten deals off, and you feel you are superior at it, meaning it is your best foot forward. What do I mean by niche list? My niche list was probates, still is. I love them. Highest profit, highest motivation, not a ton of them, and they really don't cost a lot of money to do. So if you got a niche list, put on there why you would make that your niche list and why you would do that. The other ones you're going to do, I know these are clumped together, but like social media. You could do Zach Discord, Wholesaling Houses for Real. You can go in freewholesaling.com in our school group. It is endless. And why do I do that? It's one of the best places to get your JV deals. All I am is brainstorming lists. This is how everybody should start out wholesaling, because if you don't have a go-to to get your prospects, don't worry about the rest of your marketing schedule because it's probably not going to work. Reverse driving for dollars, which is technically a way to market to your prospects, but it is kind of a technique, but you would use one of the government lists to enact the reverse driving for dollars. This is simply when you drive around and you stick notes on the cars. Not the cars, the owner's doors. It works really well. Chartreuse color, pink color, got a quick question about your house, put it on there. Why do people respond to it? Because they're curious. That's it. That's what you got to understand on that. If we have time, we'll do some one-on-ones today. I promise. Now, this for the most part is going to cover a majority of where everybody starts out. We all agree on this. Now, if I'm going to add to this list, we will have another level, but we'll add to it when we move along here. So if I'm starting out in wholesaling, you basically got about 9 government lists here. Driving for dollars, you do your niche list, your social media, and then I'm also going to put on there title companies because they have quite a list, and then they also have deals that fall apart. This is where you have to start if you are a beginner, because without a prospect list, there's nothing you can do in wholesaling. So I got to get excited and I got to get a list. Now, it doesn't matter if you guys paid for a course at this point. This is the natural list you start out. Why? Number one, it's free. Just because it's free doesn't make it easy. You're going to have to earn these lists. Number two, government lists have one of the highest sources of motivated sellers you can get. Nobody chooses to be on that list. If they're on that list, they are a great person to chase down. Now, what I want to do now is let's subdivide. And let's just say you're starting out wholesaling and you are doing this part-time. Whatever it is. Maybe you have another job. This is how I started out. And so I would define part-time as 20 hours or less. So if I'm going to attack these lists, I got to figure out how to make my 20 hours work the best. So you can just be busy and kind of run all over. You can go to Bigger Pockets. You can go on the internet. You can look for all these crazy places. But let me show you how I did it and most likely how you want to do it. So I always like to use, we call the 3-1-1 rule. That means if I had 5 hours in the day, let me clean this up here. I would put 3 hours towards marketing and hours towards acquisitions and hours towards disposition. So at least a third of your time should be spent towards marketing. So in the beginning, you just got to understand the ratios, and I'll show you how this works. Now, 20 hours, 30 hours, it really doesn't matter. It is just understanding you're getting going. Now, when most people start out when they do wholesaling is they just have a goal. And so my biggest goal when I start out wholesaling we'll put this on here, is to what? I want to get my first deal. That's all that matters to me in the beginning. So what's going to be the most important thing that I have? You are going to have a tremendous amount of opportunities, which means you are going to need quality and quantity. Tough one. Now, where am I going to go? You're basically going to go over to all these lists over here to figure out how to get it. Now, why are we using a lot of free lists? Number one, a lot of people try and start out wholesaling, and that is the worst way to start out. In my opinion, go all the way in, don't dip your toes in, and get it going. Nobody who's ever tried wholesaling does well. People who commit to wholesaling, they usually do very, very well. But remember, you have to put your best effort forward. If you're stuck because you got to put food on the table with another job, I understand it. Use wholesaling as your leverage to get that ultimate freedom of time and freedom of money. And that's what I truly want you to do. So when we do it, we're going to need quality and quantity. When I mean quality is we need one type of seller. Off-market, direct-to-seller that needs to sell. We need a motivated seller because the reality is, let me put it up here. You can either deal with people who want to sell or who need to sell. If you want to fix the difference between being busy and actually being effective in wholesaling, just focus on need. And just ask yourself this single question. Does this seller need to sell? And if they don't, move on to the next one. People who want to sell, they go to MLS, they deal with realtors. They always want tippy top dollar. And let's be honest, they're difficult. All this right here means you're busy. This is how you sell a crap load of courses. Chase these people, it's a waste of time. Someone who needs to sell, real simple. There's a consequence if they don't sell. Usually a loss of financial something, the house, something. There's pain. Loss of security. It creates doubt. And the only thing we're selling these people is trust and certainty. You have to demonstrate the trust. The certainty is basically the product you are supplying. Hey, I can buy your house for this price. I can have it closed by this time. We can stop the foreclosure. You can move on. You can walk away with your $18,000. Everybody wins. See, that's certainty, because if you're ever going somewhere and you don't know the outcome, it sucks. And most people who buy from me in wholesaling is because they're tired of uncertainty and they want to get rid of it. So I would be a fool not to tell you that you've got to find people that need to sell. If they don't need to sell, ask yourself, what am I doing with the seller? If you want to be busy, sit there and just keep going over comps and all this other crap, because they're never going to buy from you. Maybe in a year, maybe 6 months down the road, you can put them up on a follow-up file. But for God's sakes, if you truly want to get your first deal, do not spend time with people who just want to sell. They are not your target market. They have nothing to do with wholesaling, and they want to do the complete opposite. So if I want ODN, off-market, direct-to-seller, needs to sell, someone who wants to sell is on market. You don't go directly to the seller. You go to the realtor, and they just want to sell. Do you see the difference? If I can get all three ODN, I have a great shot at a great wholesale deal, which will target me on getting my first deal. If I want to seem super busy, like there's a lot of leads, but they're crap, go chase people who want to sell their house. They're all over Zillow. They're all over MLS. They're all over with realtors. And for that reason, I don't even mess with them. Like, I'm just telling you, that's what we need to do. So if we understand that, let's keep moving forward here. So in the beginning, we need quality and quantity. Quality is people that need to sell. They need to sell. The real challenge is you're going to need quantity as a new wholesaler. And I find most people don't understand the quantity thing. So Grant Cardone gets this right. You have to 10x whatever you think you need, and you are going to have to run with it. So in the beginning, there's going to be a very low cost. Why? Because let's face it, most of us don't have the money when we started out. We got into wholesaling because it's low risk, high reward. But when you get in with little, no money, you're going to have to put in some serious hustle muscle. I mean, you're going to have to go get all the government lists you can. You're going to have to do driving for dollars. And you are going to have to work your butt off. So if you want to know numbers real quick, let me give them to you because most people are very, very light on these numbers. So your government list, I want at least 2,500 leads. Now remember, that's combined. So if you ask for 9 lists and you get 4 and you come up with 2,500, that is awesome. If you go over to freewholesaling.com, me and Zach teach you how to sort all these lists to make it super simple. You're driving for dollars, it's 500 leads. Rick, how am I going to find 500 houses? I don't know. Just look for ugly houses. Your body is equipped to look for what's wrong in life. So for the first time, it'll actually pay you off on that. That gives you 3,000 leads. Now, the niche list probably be about 100, 150. Maybe that's just all your probates combined. And then social media and reverse driving for dollars. You can hook the reverse driving for dollars up with whatever government list. I like to do code violations and tax delinquency, 2 years or more behind on it. And then social media, you're going to use the Zach Discord, Wholesaling Houses for Real, all these other social media sites that wholesalers go to. And that's where you find JV deals here. So just by doing this, let's see, 3, you can easily do 3,200 leads minimum. Now, I'm going to be honest with you, that's not even a lot. But in the beginning, in your first year, to get your first deal, you're going to have to go through 3,200 leads manually. It's going to take time. How much time is it going to take? Well, in this section right here, we are in, let's just call this, that is our marketing section. So if you're doing this 20 hours a week, it's simple. You're basically going to do 3, 6, let me do 3, 6, 7, 5. 3, 6, 7, why am I messing that up? So if you did 20 hours a week, that's 5 hours a day, 5 times 4. So you're going to spend about, let's change the color here. Your first 15 hours is all going to be on marketing. Okay? And the next part you get down to here is you are going to get into acquisitions. In the beginning, acquisitions is not much because it's just you, right? So if it's just you in acquisitions, your goal is basically to set appointment setting. Now, either you're doing this locally or virtual. It doesn't matter. You probably do a combo of both. And on this one, your 15 hours of combing through all these leads should leave you roughly about 3 hours to sort through and handle appointment setting. This is talking to people in person or whatever it is on that. And then your bottom portion is going to be Dispo. Now, here's the good news. In the beginning, you don't have a lot of Dispo going on. You actually have very, very little. This is why we save it for last. And on this one, this is basically where you're building your cash buyers list. Now, you can skip this, but it's going to be painful when you get a deal on it. And this is where you're going to collect them all. Collect all your buyers. And you should be spending 2 to 3 hours on this as well. So 15, 18, 20 hours, that's your 20-hour work week. Now, you got to understand this in the beginning, guys. You're going to have to focus heavily on the low-cost stuff. It's going to be hard. But remember, if your entire goal is to get your first deal, then you got to go out and get these 3,200 plus lists, and you got to go through every one of them. Can we find a deal in 3,200? I bet you can. I'm not going to guarantee it. It might take you 3 months, but that is your initial target when you start out. Some of you come to me and go, I got 200. Is that enough to get my first deal? I don't know. You tell me. You see, because the 3,200 is the quantity. And guys, remember, we're starting out from what? 0. We went from 0 and got to 3,200. It's going to take some serious work from you. So in the beginning, you're going to spend most of your 15 hours in this marketing section. Does everybody understand that? If you got a question, put it in there. Let's get going. So if we understand that, and hey, were we effective? How do I know if I'm effective? I got my first deal. I put money in my bank account. Rick, I love this wholesaling thing. And guys, here's the reality is, most wholesalers will fail from this section and up. Why? Because they don't know how to get 3,200 leads. They don't know how to work 3,200 leads, and they lack the confidence having the conversations with them. And there is only one fix to all this, and it is called repetition, repetition, repetition. You have to get in the reps. I probably spelled it wrong. I don't know. You get in 3,200 reps, you are well on your way, not only getting your first deal, but getting on your way to become a full-time wholesaler, which is going to bring us to the next one. Now we have to build on this. Hopefully you've gotten your first deal by now. Put it in the comments if you've gotten your first deal. And guys, I'm a marathon wholesaler. If you want to be the fastest one to get your first deal, great. But it doesn't matter to me. Because if you want to win a marathon, you're going to have to train mile by mile. And there's always people that get in the wholesaling and goes, I'm going to dominate this. And so they start running as fast as they can. They skip a lot of the basic understandings of wholesaling, and they just want to get to 100 deals. And often they overlook the first deal, the second deal, the third deal. Guys, looking like you're a great wholesaler, oh, it's great for the internet. God knows people make a living off of it. It's not going to get you where you want to go. The people that do this are the ones that just put their heads down and get the work done. And they never ask, Rick, how many cold calls do I have to make this work? They don't care. They're like, if I have to make 100,000 calls, that's what I'm going to do. Those people always make it. The person goes, if I have to make more than 500 calls, I quit. Then quit, because that's what you're going to wind up doing. So we get to our first deal. Now we move on to the next phase. And this is what I call the full-time wholesaler. And this is where a lot of you guys are going to be basically in. Okay, so what's a full-time wholesaler? It's 40 plus hours a week. And I'm going to be honest with you, it can sometimes look like 80, 90 to 100 hours. This is where you're going to put in the most work, because this is where you really have to make it work. So we have to focus this. What is the focus once you get in this business full time? Okay, I put 20 grand in my bank account. I've proved this can work. Now I got to do it over again. And here's your next goal that you reach towards. You ready? It's 5 deals, baby. I know it doesn't sound like a lot, but it's more than you think it is. Get the 5 deals, and you statistically beat every other wholesaler out there. Why? Most people rarely ever make it to 5. I got to get you to the first one, then I got to get you to 5 deals. So what are we going to do differently and structure our day to get 5 deals? This is really straightforward. Guys, drop in the comments if you have any questions on this. But I know this sounds basic, but now that I go on here, the biggest thing I'm going to have to add to this is I'm going to have to really up my quantity. There's no way around it, because 3,200 is not going to make it. If 3,200 got into my first deal, how do I get to 5? That's right. You're almost going to have to 10x this. Now, here's the good part of it. When you work 40 hours doing this, you're basically, I think, get my calculator out here on this. Always remember the 3-1-1 rule. because that's what's going to do the best for you. So on this one, I'm going to spend between 12 and 15 hours on marketing as a full-time wholesaler. That means more than half your time should be spent on marketing. End of story. Now, what we're going to have to move on with is we're going to do all this stuff, and then we're going to add. So what can we add to grow our business? Because I'm going to be honest with you, I don't know if this is going to be enough to get me 5 deals, especially in 30 days. In fact, I'll almost guarantee you, if you get lucky, maybe, but the truth is you're going to have to add some more quantity. So the good news is you got about 20K in the bank. You can take 4 or 5 grand and put it back and invest in your marketing. And guys, I'm not going to ask you to go out and buy a course, and I'm going to show you the magical way behind this paywall and show you how to get all this done. How about I just show you exactly how to do it? So you can skip the 5K. You're welcome, because that's what every course is. They won't tell you what's in the course, and they'll teach you a course that's like 20 years old. So we have to add to this. So what are we going to add to this? The next thing I would add to this is simply like an X Leads account. Why? Because it's the most cost effective. So we can do that for 97 bucks. Can everybody do 97 bucks? Great. It's not a requirement, but if you've already made 20 grand, you got enough money, because by making the investment in X Leads, you can now quantify. And here's the best part on the X Leads. If you want, you can get up to 65K in leads. Do you think that will suffice your little quantity issue? Well, how am I going to do that? The first thing is I'm going to pull my preset list. My pre-foreclosures. I'm going to pull my probates because now it's included in there. I can go faster. I'm going to pull my vacancy list as well. And then I'm probably going to add a high equity list. And I'll show you why. Okay, so what can we work within all these leads right here? This right here alone would easily give me 15 to 20K in leads. So we've gone from 3,200 to 15 to 20K. Does everybody understand the big jump in the numbers? Because this is what it's going to take to get you to 5 deals. You can get lucky, but you're going to have a serious amount of quantity. And by this time, you're used to talking to thousands and thousands of people. Very few things are going to slip you up at this point, and you got to get going. So the next question is, how am I going to reach all these people? Yes, you can do reverse driving for dollars, but it's only going to get you so far. So what else am I going to add on this? What else can I do? We have 2 other natural ones that we can do. We can do PPL, which we're going to talk about, and we can do direct mail. Because this is the point where you have to add some sort of scaling to really grow your business. You see, in the beginning, you had to do what you had to do manually to see if you could survive in wholesaling. And the truth of the matter, a lot of people will not even go through this much work. They won't make the effort. And the minute they got to go through 3,200 leads, they're just going to quit. And honestly, great. You didn't pay a dime. You didn't pay me 5 grand. You quit after 15 phone calls. You were never meant for this business. Move on. The reason why we want you to do it this way, to see if you have the guts to do wholesaling, because if you do, and you can survive all this and get your first deal, then we move you over to this. And then we basically add on X Leads, all the pre-foreclosed lists, which I'll put right here, lists, and they're all built inside for you. Remember, these 3,200, you had to kill yourself for 2 or 3 weeks to get. This, you can wrap it all up within 30 minutes to an hour. You got to learn how to do it. But then we have that. And then basically, what am I going to add? Let me do a different color here. So you said, we talk about PPL. Why is Rick even talking about PPL? Is it my favorite? No. Is it a viable way to get leads? Yes. Here's the problem with people. PPL, pay per lead. This is not a get rich quick scheme, or I never have to market because it's already done for me. You are paying to have a company basically put a PPC campaign for you, pay per click, and then they're doing targeted leads. The biggest problem with a PPL is what? The cost. What is the ROI? And here's the problem. Before me and Zach attacked this, the only way you could attack it was you had to pay $200 to $400 per lead. Well, how many leads can I do with that and suffice? I got people telling me direct mail is expensive. I don't know, $400 a lead is wildly expensive. And we noticed a trend that most people that do PPL leads online, let's just be brutally honest, the leads are given to them for free by the PPL companies. Not a problem with that. But let me ask you, would you be calling on 20 to 30 leads if you had to pay $400 a lead? We already know the answer to that. So you got to understand. So if it was 200 to 400, think about this. If I made 20 phone calls, that would cost me $4 to $8,000 per month to do. Now, can we find a deal in there? I'm sure you can, but the question is it going to be a good deal or not? And so maybe you make 10 grand on it. If I had to spend 8 grand to make 10 grand, that's only a 20% return on my money. That's actually very, very risky. So me and Zach went to every PPL company and said, hey, listen, we need a better way to do this. Otherwise, listen, we don't doubt PPL. The problem is you guys are such good marketers, you make all the money. Because if I got to invest $5,000 to $10,000 a month and I can only make 10 to 15 grand, it's not worth my risk. Remember, I got to make all the phone calls. I got to do everything. Don't get me wrong. I know it's expensive to get online leads, but are they that valuable? So we had to come up with a formula. So we worked with iSpeed to Lead. All the other companies want a flat fee and you have to bid. And the more you have to bid, the more time that goes by. And the more time that goes by on a PPL lead, the less likely you are to win those deals. So basically on the iSpeed to Lead, here's what they did. It's $199 a month to be in their coupon club. Let's just call it 200, right? 200. Got it. Pain in the butt, but I understand they're running a business model. Then before, the cheapest lead we could find anywhere was 30 bucks. Well, if you have an X Leads account, here's what me and Zach did for you. You still got to do the $200 membership, but your leads are 24 bucks each. And they guarantee a guaranteed refund if it's a bad lead. Meaning, if it's listed or there's no motivation at all, you can use your X Leads account and set up the AI and do the automated, and it will automatically send an email and you will get a fresh lead to replace it. This is the first time it's ever, because if you do not factor in the return leads, these things get expensive quick. So regardless, if I got 24 leads, here's my calculator here. So if I'm going to do some sort of money on a paid budget on it, 2,000 minus 2. So if I wanted to do 75 leads times 24, with that 24, I can do 75 leads. I want you to think about this. Let me ask you this. Do you think in PPL with 75 leads you can find a deal? I think you can. Now, I don't want you to do this as a first strategy, and I only want to do it if you're very comfortable talking to people and you're much closer to the 5 deals. But guys, think about this. You can get 75 leads for just under $2,000. Now, I don't want you starting out with this, but if I did it at $400 a lead, if I do it like all the other companies want you to do it, you're only going to get 5 leads. 75 leads. Do you think you can find a deal in 75 leads? I know you can. Now, it's not a requirement. Maybe you just do 1,000 leads. Not 1,000 leads. If you spend $1,000, let's see, by 24, you could get 33 leads for under $1,000 with the $200 membership. Guys, that's extremely doable. Now, let's add on this. Let's keep going on this. I also told you I'm going to do the high equity list. I like the vacancy list. And then I'm going to roll down here and teach you a thing called direct mail. Now, this is when you're full-time and you're making money and you're getting deals done. And maybe you're on deal 3 or 4 and you go, Rick, I got to turn this on. Most people don't want to talk to you about direct mail because it's not sexy and it's boring. My direct mail gives me an 8 to 9 times return on my investment every month. I've been doing it for 20 years. And if you don't believe me, go around the country and find the people that do the most wholesale deals. I guarantee 70 to 75% of their leads are targeted on direct mail. Number one, it's 100% legal. You can't go to jail. You can't get in trouble as long as you send an ethical offer on it. No profanity, nothing like that. Number two, it's automated. I myself, for 4 years, did direct mail all by myself with no other help. I answered all the phones, did everything, and I sent out at least 7,000 to 10,000 pieces of mail all by myself. So you can do it as a solo wholesaler. It's completely automated. And this comes down to go, Rick, what about the cost? When you start out doing direct mail, the average cost is between 2 and 3K. Now, I don't like this as a starting position, but let's understand it. This all was free. Everything we did here was pretty much free. Now, if we go to this, where we add 65,000 leads, we add PPL, say we did 33 leads, we did $1,000 there. Say you're spending $100 a month on X leads. Do PPL there with iSpeed to lead. And then the last one, say you did $2,500 on direct mail. And maybe that got you about 5K in pieces. I got to do the math on it, but that's roughly around it. So that's 25, 3,500. That's 4,000 pieces. Plus, you can do another 60K for JV partners, get people out there to call on it. Plus, you're going to do your original 3,200. So that gives me 67,000 total leads to work off. And guys, here's the key is, you're going to get a lot of traffic in your pipeline. You're going to get a lot of deals to work. As I'm working through them, we're going to have to bring in AI for sure. And that's where we want you to bring in X leads, because the follow-up is going to be one of the most important pieces you do. And I'm going to put it right here. If you don't have some sort of system to do the follow-up in your CRM, this is where most wholesalers get killed when they do this. So I got deal 1. And deal 2 through 5 should be easily handled in there. Now, this first one might have taken you 90 days. Guys, this one will take you another 90 to 180 days. And this is where you really learn how to do wholesaling. And so what is the time frame on this again? 12 to 15 hours there. And on your appointment follow-up, you're going to do around 5 to 7 hours. And then on your Dispo, you're going to do another 5 hours. And on your Dispo, which we're going to add on this other side to really show you it, the real key on the third one, which is basically all it is full-time plus major scaling. And I'll show you the basic differences. This is where people really understand the business of wholesaling. This right here is where you actually learn how wholesaling operates. You understand what you're looking for. You understand the conversations, the type of seller you want, and you understand how to do a basic dispo of your deals. Not pretty. On this one, now you're going to go through some more volume. 5 deals will show you how to create a system to repeat it over and over and over again. That's the main thing you want to do. And when we get to this one, we are all in, and now we're going to find a way to really blow this thing up. So once again, we always have to start, what is our target when we get into this? Well, if this was to get 1 deal, and then this one was to get 5 deals, once I get to the scaling, I simply want to get 30 deals under my belt. Why? because that is the next graduation of becoming a big-time wholesaler. You got to do 1, you got to do 5, and then you got to do 30. Now, what's the time frame? Usually 1 year or less. Everybody understand that? It's that simple. So when we do this, had a visitor. When we do this, you have to understand what your time commitment is and everything like this. Now, if we're going to go to scaling, everybody thinks it's so majorly different, and it's really not. Just once again, you're going to go back and you're going to take all your beginner lists that you use. Because at this point, a lot of times, a lot of people just want to skip this stuff. So at this point, now we have our government list. You have all your driving for dollars. You have your niche, your probate, all that other stuff. You got your social media. You got your title company. If you guys aren't getting lists from your title company, you're missing out majorly. And then you're going to do your reverse driving for dollars. Guys, do you see this? I never stop doing this. This comes all the way over when I do it, because if you stop doing this, like a lot of people will go from here to there and then they stop doing all this. Well, if you stop doing that, all your cash flow is going to stop. All the momentum you built up is going to get destroyed, and you don't want to do that. So just keeping your way. I got 1 deal here. I got 5 deals here. I'm looking at 30. And a lot of you go, man, 30 sounds like a lot. It's really not, because you have a system to scale it now. So basically what we're going to do is take everything from 1, and then we're going to take and add on this, real simple, the PPL. And what I would do is I would go to 75 leads, and that's going to put you around 2K. And then when we do direct mail, once you get it going, because here's the key with direct mail. Everybody's got to understand with direct mail. It takes 3 months for direct mail to really kick in. So if you're going to do direct mail and bitch and whine after the first mailing, just don't do it. It's that simple. If you guys are looking for a partner, me and Zach do partnerships, and we have a program called Mailing to Millions. I've probably run about 75 people through it. I think only 3 people didn't do a deal because they didn't do the work. But everybody put in the work and the effort, and they came up and worked with us on a marketing plan. I don't do a coaching program. It is a partnership. You guys want more information, seek Corey out. He's inside the school group. He's not hard to find, Corey Whitley. He helps me. He actually runs the program. He was one of my first students and went through it. So on direct mail, we're going to go up to 10K pieces. And let me do some math on that, because I know they're running postage rate. If you did around 10K, it'd be around 5,500. And then the other thing is, if you got the X Leads account, by this time, you are now going to get into the Dispo. Because this is the part where I was like, man, I don't want to do Dispo. I never wanted to do Dispo when I got into wholesaling. I hate Dispo. I just find it boring. I find it a rudimentary term. But what I like to do at this level is, if you use your X Leads account and you have the X plan, the Dispo suite is all built in there for you. So that runs you, I think, like $230 a month. But you have to make a decision. Do you want to pay someone 3 to 5% to sell all your properties, or you rather pay $230 a month? X Leads can go in there and give you the best buyers ranked on the area where they go. You can also use the AI suite. It'll help you with the whole thing. So if I do that, if I add up at this stage, I'm at, let's see, 23, 20, do some math. 230 by 12, 2760 plus 55. So all this put together, you're just over 10K. But guys, let me ask you this. That's for Now, at this point, you should be spitting out 5 deals a month. There's no problem here. Most of you are going to get freaked out about the 10 grand. But if I'm trying to show you how to run a $1.5 million business, let me see if I can write on the other side. Oh, I can. If you truly run a scalable wholesaling business and say you want to earn 1, 5, and you had to spend $10,000 a month, that's $120,000. What is your ROI on that? That's simple. Oops. 120 divided by 120 to 1.5 million. So it's roughly going to cost you about 8% of your capital to get to that number. But imagine this. If I spat out $10,000, which is the painful part, and I'm averaging 1.5, that gives me $125,000, which is basically what? A 12.5 multiple on your money. Do you see how this makes sense? But most of you freak out when you hear 10 grand. Now, here's the problem. Most of you spend 10K on a course alone. And by the way, I'm not knocking you for doing it, but how do they come up with 10K? It's just a random number that you go, oh my God, it's so big. It's the only thing that's going to help me out. And I'm showing you how you can do the same 10K without paying for a course and working from left to right when you do it. And here's the only difference I did on this one is I just churned more money from the full-time plan to the scaling plan, and I added the X leads Dispo on it. That's all I did. And then we get to 30. And once you get to 30, you have found your wholesaling compass, meaning you know exactly what to do. You don't have to have anybody else tell you how to do it. You're going to be so dialed into your markets, you'll know exactly what you do. But everyone's got to start somewhere, and you got to go left to right. And a lot of people want to go from here all the way to there. And then when I get there, I go, hey, listen, to do that, all you got to do is spend about 10K a month. Well, you spend 15K in a course. Okay, well, then I'm sorry about that, but you're going to have to make it up now. And people go, well, 10K, that's a lot of money. I go, is 125,000 a lot more than 10K? Yes, it is. And the 10K, what I want you to do is earn it the old-fashioned way. By doing this one first without buying a course, doing this one next by getting your first deal, and then coming over here and getting the deal 5. Once you get deal 5, you should have at least six figures in the bank. And once you do this, now you can run what we call a wholesaling business. Guys, I've been doing this 23 years. There's no other way to do it. The only other difference on here is once you get to this level, you have to add employees. There's no way around it. Or you have to do everything yourself, and it sucks. Now, on this one, you can do VAs, you can do whatever you want, you can use it. And in this one right here, you're doing AI on a big part of it. So if I had to do technology in order, I would do AI first. I'd do a VA second, or multiple VAs, and then the third one. And when I say I mean by like X leads. And then the third one's going to be employees. So let me ask you, somebody put in the comments, if you're running a business and you haven't even done 5 deals, let me know if you've hired an employee. Because God knows I hired so many employees. I didn't understand how the business worked, and I had to learn the hard way. And you know how I learned the hard way? I had to fire a lot of people that didn't do anything wrong. And that's on me. Remember, I've always been great connecting with people. From here to there was probably my biggest struggle in wholesaling. And I'd like to tell you there's plenty of mentors that can go out there and teach you and stuff, but the reality is if they're teaching it to you on a course, that is their job. It's just that, well, I've seen this. They can have 5,000, 10,000 students. That is a full-time job. There's no other way around it, especially if they're charging you 5 to 10K. So always be relative when you do wholesaling. Focus on what you need to get. First deal. Do I got my deal 5? Am I working towards 30? And they go, hey, what's the next venue past this? After that, you go to 30, you go to 100. Once you do 100 deals, I would consider you somewhat an expert in wholesaling. Not one before 100 though, because if you do 100, that means you had to probably talk to 30, 40,000 people. And that's the journey that truly makes you super, super powerful in wholesaling. And we have to do it that way. So I put on the bottom freewholesaling.com. You guys can go there to get started. And what I want to do is try to answer some questions. Let's see here. I'm seeing. So some of you guys are asking about the whole state of Texas thing. That law has been on the books for a long time. Nothing's changed in there. I know there's all sorts of stuff. You can't do this. You can't do that. Guys, talk to lawyers. Don't talk to people that produce videos. Just read the law. Read it word for word. And then we will never have this conversation again. I promise you. Don't be scared of wholesaling. So, Mr. Do Too Much, whenever you start a sentence with I heard, it means you're too lazy to get the real answer. Look up the law. It's been on the books forever. But now someone did a video. So no one's had a problem in the last 8 years. Now everybody has a problem with it. Come on, guys. Texas is one of the biggest states to wholesaling. I'm doing deals left and right in Texas. You have to have clarity on what a cold call is. And look no further than the recent case that just got passed by a federal judge. And they clarified what a cold call constitutes. And basically, the people you heard this definition from is their own personal opinion, and it's not even close. But whatever, everybody's entitled to it. But and basically all these people that do all these can't cold call this, they basically got you to the point where you can't wholesale in almost half the country. If you want to believe that, just go, you're probably the person that's not going to make it in wholesaling. I'm just going to tell you the truth. I've been told since 2003, wholesaling will never, it's going to be outlawed. It's constantly. That law in Texas is not new. It's just someone's interpreted it, and now they tell you you're going to get this fine. Everyone's so scared. I'm so scared. Guys, if you're in wholesaling, I'm just telling you, we are a different crowd. If you want to let somebody press you in a corner and tell you it's illegal and tell you to give up, then go for it. It's funny. All these laws were perfectly fine for them to get where they needed to. And now that they actually have a platform to help elevate people, it just seems like all we are is scaring people. So read the law word for word. And I find it funny how only the laws that benefit their favor get highlighted. And the ones that actually help wholesaling, you'll never hear about them, especially the ones that recently got passed, struck down by a federal judge. So the Texas thing, guys, it's a moot point. It's a moot point. Read it. You have no problems. Read it. It defines what a cold call is. You're not presenting a service. You're not providing a service or a good. I can't emphasize this enough for you. So, so Ben's got it right. He'll check on it for you. Solarpreneur, that's funny. Awesome. Okay. So guys, all you have to do is read the law. Like that's the best. I can sit here all day and do every video and tell you illegal, and I walk you through every law. Now, are there things that you have to do? Yes. But like things change all the time. When I was a little kid, I didn't have to wear a seatbelt. It wasn't against the law. Now it's against the law. They're trying to protect you. I don't know. Do I need protecting? Had accepted. Okay, so let's get back. So if you have a question, put it in the comments, And I am going to try to answer all these questions. And then since I'm standing up today and I'm looking down on a computer, not looking at this, I'm going to put an invite on the screen because we have not done that in a while on here and I feel bad about it. So I'm going to put it in the comments here if you want to hop on. We have some time. And then, you know what? I would love to walk through anybody that is in wholesaling right now. If you want to start from the beginning, work the way over, tell me where you're stuck, where you're not thinking about it. And the only reason I did this side is I don't usually show you guys some of the bigger scaling stuff we do. But as me and Zach, we're going on year 5 now. I mean, I got people doing as many deals as me and Zach do that started out just needing one deal. And they learned it. They mastered each phase and they got really good at it. Now, what my other big hint to tell you on this is don't get stuck where you are on this board because it's kind of like a board game. Sometimes you go here real quick, you get your first deal, and then you brutally struggle to get to your 5th deal. It could take 6 months. Or maybe this took 6 months and this took 30 days, and now you're fighting towards 30 deals. You're like, well, I'm only doing 2 a month. It's going to take forever. You're getting better through the repetitions. Every time you talk to people, you're pushing forward. Every one of these has a goal to push forward. Because if you don't have a goal to push forward, my first deal, I was never more excited. Deal 5, I was dancing on the ceiling. And when I hit 30, I thought I was a god. And then when they go, no, when you're 100, we'll let you know. Guys, I'm well over 3,500 deals now. We all have to start somewhere. And by the way, there are more levels to this stuff, but they get very, very niched out after this when you do it. So I also want you guys to know that about 70% of direct mail, 70% of leads come from direct mail. It's everybody acts like PPL, PPC does it. It's actually, they're very small. So for the first time, me and Zach have opened up about PPL because for the first time, we can finally determine what the ROI on is. So me and Zach are going to share ROI, all our partners' ROIs. And most importantly, we want you guys to share your ROI on PPL because for the first time, you can actually go in here and do a lead for basically $24 a month. Yes, I know it's $200 for the subscription service, but show me any other service that offers that price because every one of them is about a bidding product, a process, and you have to wait. And the longer you have to wait, the worse it gets. And what I like about iSpeed the lead, they give me the transcript. They tell me where the lead came from. They give you everything, and they use AI to rate the lead. Guys, you can't beat this stuff. You can't make it up. It's good stuff. So, okay. Let's see some questions on here, and let's hop on some people. So, guys, I want you to also understand on refunds on PPL, most PPL companies don't even offer a refund process. And I will tell you this, Gene and Yuri over at iSpeed Delete, we've never had a problem. And they go, oh, Rick, it's your account with XLeads. I'm just telling you, they don't know the difference between my account and your account. I do it on purpose. And if you use our system and you set up everything, the A2P and all that, because I had a question on here, well, even if they want retail, no. If I have a lead and I can't connect with them, after 6 tries, documented, prove it, you get a refund on the lead. That's it. It doesn't say if they want retail or not. Some deals are just going to want retail. Some people manipulate the PPL system, but that's why I'm talking between 75 and 33 leads. There's going to be some deals that fall apart. Do I get a refund on every one of them? Absolutely not. Like, they got to run a business too, guys. And the idea is I don't mind throwing them a few thousand if I can make deals off of it. But the old way to do it, $200 to $400 a lead, it just made no financial sense. You had to get really, really lucky. And nobody wants to do it that way. So just keep that. Okay. So you can send it over to sellmypaper.com. I'll definitely take a look at it. So yes, definitely. I'm reading. Josh just got his first probate deal. That's awesome. Let me know if you need any help with it. And so let's hop on some people, get them on here live. And guys, listen, I got no problem with people putting out videos. I think you should get the full story on the bill. You just find the one negative. It just seems like, I don't know, man. Like, I fight for the wholesaler. I want wholesaling to win at the end of the day. I want everyone to have the same opportunities I had in wholesaling, and sit here and tell you that something's banned or it's outlawed when it clearly isn't. I don't know. Whatever. I can't control what other people do. I mean, if it's going to stop you in your tracks, watch it. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me to do that like that way. So, so we talk about the sweet hours of cold calling, and I say this all the time, guys. People go, "Hey, Rick, so do you think I'm going to get up here and tell you what the sweet spot is on cold calling?" I'll tell you what it is. You know what it is? People always laugh when I say this, and I say this with love. I really do. But here's the sweet spot. When you can, that's when you cold call. So if I get off work at 7, I cold call at 7:30. That's the honest to God the answer. There is no like perfect studies. I would probably say from 5 to 8, and maybe from 10 to 12, or like 10 to 1, if I had to find that sweet spot. When I would not know cold calls, it's simple. It's whenever it's dark out. 6 in the morning, not a good idea to cold call. 10 o'clock at night, not a good time to cold call. And then I would give I'd give a 1 hour buffer on light. So if the sun comes up at like 7:30, I would not call before 8:30. And at night, usually around 9 p.m. But at the end of the day, guys, when you decide to make those calls, like, that's it. I did not have that luxury when I started wholesaling. I cold called on my lunch hour, and then usually in the evenings from like 7 to 9:30. That's it. Rick, did you do better? Listen, whenever I called, I did better. That's all I know. I didn't sit down there and break it down. I will tell you, Saturday is a really good time from like 9:30 to like 5 o'clock. Saturday was always the day to get through on all the follow-ups, everything we do with that. So, yeah, just cold call, guys. Like, it's like sometimes you just have a restricted schedule and you have to get it going. So that's what we have to do. So, okay, let's hop some people on here. I get tired of talking to myself here. Cheryl, you there?
Yes.
Hey there. How you doing? Let me turn this
first,
up. Okay.
Oh, my question is actually on JVs. So at what point do you, like, at what point can we ask for the JV? Like, is it as soon as we get like a yes from the seller, or do we have to have a contract signed first before we ask you to help in or to JV?
So are you finding the deals, or are you helping somebody else find a buyer for their deal?
No, I'm finding, I'm the one finding the deals. Mm-hmm.
So there's two ways to do it. So my original JV's days was I would go out and find a motivated seller. I would put it under contract, and then I would find someone that was an expertise in that area, especially if I was doing it virtual. And I'd say, hey, listen, I have a deal. It's a 3-2 in the zip code. It's going to be vacant. Do you think you can move it? We talk some numbers. I see if they even halfway know what they're talking about. And then if I decide they can help me and I'm going to do a deal, once you have the property under contract, you need to enter into a JV with the other partner, which potentially the other wholesaler, whatever you want to call them. So you would have to initiate a JV contract with your new partner because you already have a contract with your existing seller. And it's up to you if you want to work with someone else to sell it. You always have that right. And we supply you with those contracts if you need help with doing it. And also in X-Leads, we automate the entire process. And by the way, you can write the deal however you want. A lot of times when I work with a new JV partner, I give them 30 days to help me out. If they can't help me out in 30 days, the contract expires automatically and we move on. So the whole purpose of a JV partner is if I can find a motivated seller and do all that, I'm usually bringing them on then because they can get me a higher sales price and they can move it faster than I know what I'm doing. And if you can do that, then all you have to do is have the original purchase contract with your seller. And then if you found someone you think that's going to be an asset to you and help you out, you enter into a JV agreement with them. And then who do you forward your JV agreement after you do all that? Who do you send
to the title company?
Yes, because that's what ensures that you get paid at the end of the day. Without a JV agreement, people will go around your back. They'll go straight to the seller. They'll do all sorts of funky stuff. And if you send it to the title company, it will usually protect you. And then you can also, if you don't trust the person, you can say, listen, you get 10 days to find me a buyer. You get 2 weeks to find me a buyer. You get 30 days. I don't treat them like realtors. If they never find me a buyer, they don't get paid. So some people are professional dispositions people and they're really good at it. And about a third of my product gets sold by people I JV all over the country. That's why it means I can move so many properties. It does take time to do it by yourself. And sometimes it's better to make some money with somebody than make no money at all by yourself. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So I usually like to, if I want someone to JV a deal, I want to know that they're experienced and they're very, very good at moving wholesale deals. And they have to prove it to me and do it like that. But once you do the JV agreement, you can write it however you want. And I usually, in the beginning, I usually just give them 2 weeks. I go, you got 2 weeks to find me a buyer. And I'm brutal about it, man. But why? Because they're not realtors. They don't get paid just to have like a listing agreement with you. So, but you got to have them sign that paperwork. And what do you do if they go, no, I'm good for it. We don't need to sign an agreement. What do you tell them?
I'll look for another one.
They will. They're basically going to tell you they're going to. So the only times I ever did stuff like that is when I got screwed the hardest. Every time when they go, no, we're good with a handshake. Never, ever, 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 ever. Especially when you find the deal and you get it. So if you're going to do a deal, do it with them. And by the way, if people give you a weird vibe when you're trying to do it, don't do a JV with them because it only gets worse. So I've had JV partners, they think they get paid no matter what if they do nothing. They have to do something. Otherwise, what's the incentive for you bringing them in? There's no incentive at all. So most of my JV buyers go, Rick, I have a buyer right now. I can probably get that thing sold this weekend. I go, great. You got 7 days to get it done. They go, what are you going to do? I go, I'm going to market on my own while you do that. But if you bring a buyer within 7 days and it's legit, I will honor my JV agreement with you. If not, I'm just going to go find my other buyer and move on. And in the old days, I used to leave them open 30, 60 days. I don't do that anymore. They have to perform or they don't get paid. Meaning if you bring your own buyer and they can't find a buyer, you don't owe them any money. Why would you pay someone that didn't help you out? And they should be happy to do that. So do you know where to find our JV contracts?
Is it in school? Or
yeah, it's in school and you can get it inside there. And you can actually automate it with your X-Leads account if you ever decide to do that.
Okay. So I can also do it in X-Leads?
Yes. Yes. Okay? All
right.
You got any other questions? Any other questions?
No, I'm good for now.
Okay. Awesome. Okay. I'll see you soon. Ariel, you there?
Yes, sir.
Ariel.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, man. How you doing?
All right, sir. Yourself?
I'm fantastic, man. It's Tuesday, day after Labor Day.
Yes,
What's going on, man? What can I help you out with?
So, Mr. Rick, about 8 months in, still chasing my first one. Just a quick question to make it brief. If you could just help me out with the offering part of it. You know, I've been getting a couple good leads in. I'm pretty comfortable speaking to people, communicating people, so I don't think I'm in there. But I'm struggling with the numbers as far as getting the right deal.
Okay, so tell me specifically what you're struggling with.
So it's taking me too much time to come up with an offer and feel comfortable with that phone. So my strategy that I've been using so far is taking Zillow's number, Realtor.com's number, dividing that into adding that up, and then dividing it, and then multiplying that by 60%. And that's what I usually offer.
Okay.
Just to have like a quick process so I don't have to spend so much time underwriting and trying to figure out a deal. But if you can point me in the right direction, give me some tips, I'll deeply appreciate it.
Yeah, hold on one second. I got to plug something back in here that fell off.
Yes, sir.
So I think you're overthinking your offers a little too much, and it's natural. So a couple things. First of all, is you understand the difference between someone who wants to sell their house and needs to sell their house, right?
Correct.
You can only talk to one of them, right? Because if you sit there and invest any time with somebody who wants to sell their house, they will literally suck all your time away for free. It's terrible. And they'll have you go through all these iterations and stuff like it doesn't work. So the biggest thing is when you get someone, all I want to do is just do I get ink all over me, is I just want to get a motivated seller and just qualify them as fast as I can. So if someone comes in and so give me your last deal you struggled with.
And Macon, Georgia, it was about, ARV was about 100,000. She was at 30. I talked it down to 15.7, but we couldn't move it, unfortunately. I tried JVing with other people, but at the beginning, I offered about 20, and I was offering my JV partner came in and said, hey, you need to be at 15.7 at least, but he couldn't move it.
Was it like a knockdown, or was it just condemned, or what kind of condition was that?
So the specific block it was on is very unattractive to buyers because of the crime rate and stuff like that. I'm doing it virtually, so that took time to understand that on the internet.
And so that's one of the things of virtual, because that's quite a disparity in number, 15.7 to 100K. So I don't know that there's much more you can do with it. If it's just a bad neighborhood, a bad block, and you're at those low numbers already, there's nothing you did wrong there. What is she going to do? Sell it for 5, 4, 3, 2? At some point, she's just going to have to call it a day, right? How long ago was that?
Probably like 2 weeks ago.
And what number do you think it needs to be at to even try to move it?
Shoot, I don't think it's possible.
I'm just telling you, I come across properties like this all the time. It's not the number. It's just, how do I say this? You ever seen that girl in high school? She's just so ugly. It doesn't matter. There's not enough makeup in the world. I don't mean to be mean, but she's just not getting a date. Even you go, here's the house for free. I go, I don't know if I want it. And this happens, there just comes a number, it doesn't work. You just let it go. There's nothing you can do with it. Even if you offered her $5,000, you probably still couldn't have made it work.
Yeah.
So that's not a good one. So don't waste your time and rack yourself up, because you tell me those numbers, I get excited off the bat. I just assume it's a real bad house, but it's a bad neighborhood and everything else. So give me another deal.
Okay, so I have one right now that basically contract was written up, sent out, but sellers stalling to sign it. Give you information right now. So
what's the ARV on it?
1 second, sir. So ARV on this one is 95. Rehab is about 30.
Okay. And what'd you offer?
So I got him to agree on 27.5.
Okay. And so you're just waiting for a signature, right?
Yes, sir.
How'd you send it to him?
Through Rabbit Sign.
Say it again. It broke up.
Rabbit Sign. It's like a doctor sign.
So like an e-sign. Okay.
Yep.
And did you put an expiration on it?
I did not.
Okay. So how many days has it been?
It's been so I sent it out Friday evening. So today, that's about 4 days. Okay.
Have you called him today?
Yeah, I've been following up with him. He hasn't been completely MIA, but he hasn't responded today. nor yesterday. So I don't know.
Okay.
I'm giving him some time, and if not, I'll just reach out to him tomorrow and basically tell him, the funds are available, but is with a time frame. If we don't get this signed soon, it's going to be off the table.
So the only thing is that when you send an e-sign, always put some sort of expiration on it. It does create a little bit of urgency for people. There's some really cool tools in there. I know in our X Leads, we put an expiration on it, and then it gives me an excuse to resend it. Also inside my X Leads account, I can tell, and a lot of these services, you can tell if they opened up the offer and looked at it. Can you tell that?
No, not with this one.
Okay, well, just let you know. In X Leads, you can do it. It's actually very valuable because I can tell if they lied to me.
I got the X Lead, Rick. I just don't know my way around it yet.
Okay, well, if you ever just go through the basics on it, it'll show you. So I wouldn't panic. I would just follow up with them. I think you're fine on that one. It is a holiday weekend. It is a big decision for people to make. All I was trying to get at is I got to be honest with you. When I do not spend a lot of time trying to underwrite the properties and go crazy. So let's just say a property is worth $200,000. I just use a round number, and say say it's a probate, right? Okay, I'm pretty quick to know a probate's probably going to jump it to the front of the line on a motivation, right? Mm-hmm. You wouldn't throw a probate away. You go, okay, 200K. We know it's outdated. They were kind of sad talking to us. I couldn't dig too deep in price on that. Probate needs some work, outdated. Let's just say it needs like 35K. It's vacant. And she does not like the probate process, which is one thing I know I can solve for her. So I'm never going to obsess on like price on something like this. I'm just going to, here's how I look at every seller. So sometimes if you can visualize this, it helps. I got a big ass bucket of wholesale leads and everything comes in here, right? Probates, foreclosures, everything jumps in here. And then I got to get them all moving around in here, and then when they shake out. And the idea is when it gets to this level on the initial qualifying, I want to know if we're even going to play ball. And then there's one more level here. From here to there, you shouldn't have to think too hard at all, because your brain's actually going to screw you up on this. Because most of these people, you're going to get the deal on the emotion. So initially qualifying, is it a probate? And this is basically where they need to sell. The last one is just going to be on price. So they're going to talk general and you're going to talk general. So it's worth 200, say it needs 35K of work. I'm just going to go, listen, I'm probably looking, I could probably get somewhere about like 110, 115. So Ariel, does that mean I'm going to pay 110 to 115K? What's that mean to you?
We got to be below that.
But the thing is, I'm sometimes just shooting off the hip.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, I know this is terrible, but like on a very motivated deal, I just cut it in half. So use 60%, start at 50, and then you can always work your way back up. So let me ask you, is it easier to go up on price or down on price?
Oh.
There you go. So I'm just trying to, so I don't, I honestly, the only everything I look at a property when I'm talking to a seller is the ARV. So if it says 200, I know it needs some work, it's vacant, then there's issues. I'm probably going to start at like 100, maybe 110 and just see how they react to me. And if they go absolutely nuts and they go, I need 185.5. Well, I already know, unless something changes, I'm not going any further than this part. Because a lot of times, Ariel, you'll get in your leads and you get down to such quantitative math. And so now you have to basically hope that you can buy their house on logic. From here up, this is all emotion. They're upset, they're overwhelmed with the house, and they just want certainty. You just keep going through the process over, and if you treat each one kind of the same way, probates are a little bit different, as you know, is I just don't get into exact numbers till I get past the first two steps. Why? Because most people don't. If I have 100 leads come in here, maybe 5 to 7 get to this point right here. Because I know a lot of them are going to get kicked out here, right? This is where most of them just go out the side bucket.
Right.
And once they get to this, I go, hey, I just want to make sure, you need to sell. Excellent. Well, me and my partner go around 100, 110 grand. Is that something in the ballpark? And either they react violently, like, we can talk about numbers. How soon can you close? Once again, I'm looking for signs of life that they actually want to chase me and work with me a little bit.
Right.
And if you don't go to, I find the further you go with every lead, the more emotionally you get connected, and then they switch the logic, and it's a really bad place to be in wholesaling. You always have to buy low to make the numbers work, as you know. So you're fine at the 27.5 one. Just all these others, I just offer roughly half the price and just see how they react to you. And that way I never have to get to a specific number. I go, listen, it was just general idea numbers. And if they're motivated, they'll keep the conversation going. If they're really pissed at you, they'll tell you. And then I'm going to go back. Do they really need to sell the house? I'm like, you're telling me you need to sell the house, but you're giving me all the wants. Maybe you should just list it with a realtor and go through all that inspection process, the 6%, the financing. I don't think I can do any of the stuff you want me to do. Yeah. And I'm trying to see if they will switch their tactics with me sooner than later. I don't want to go through in a 1 hour conversation. Within 5 to 7 minutes, I kind of want to know if we're even going to play ball.
That's
so
absolutely brilliant. I like where you.
The 60 to 70%, it doesn't matter. Let me ask you this. I'll prove this point. I'll let you go. And I do this. God, I hate this board sometimes. Let me ask you this. If I have a stubborn seller and they're like, listen, 150 is my bottom line number, Rick. I'm not going any lower. I know you offered me 110. Okay. 150. You realize you can't make people do stuff. But I know she needs to sell. But this is the number her and her husband are stuck on it. What if I go find a buyer that'll pay 162 for it? And they go, that's the exact house I want. I'll pay cash. That gives me what? 12K. Who gives a crap about 60 or 70%? And by the way, I do these deals at least 5 a month where I think the price should be lower, but I can't get it any lower. I've done every skill set that I've been taught over my 23 years, and I accept it. And I'm not going to be able to trick them. The only way this is going to change is time and circumstance. So if I have a good buyer's list, I go back, I find someone that pay me 12 grand more. Happens all the time. I just did a probate that I only thought I was going to get 32 grand for. I got 64 grand. We don't know the final price of everything. And I'm just telling you, a big part of this is my reverse wholesaling. When you get someone stuck at a number and they go, okay, that's it. That's as far as I could. Your job is to go over on the Dispo side and see how far you can push that number. And if it's worth your time and effort, it's a quality property, it's worth it. If the property is just ugly, nasty, sometimes if you even bought it for $1, you might not be able to move it. So just don't get stuck on the numbers. Get stuck on they need to sell, and then will they do a basic price qualification where I can make this work? Or if I get them to the lowest number and I've done everything I can, I've worked on my relationship, can I go to the Dispo side and find a buyer to pay me more? And that's where you can make an infinite return, because maybe you got $100, $200 deposit. To make 12 grand on it, to me, is the funnest game when it comes to money, because that's my favorite part of wholesaling. I can make 12 grand out of the air where a lot of other wholesalers would walk away from it. And let's face it, them at their 150, they're probably not going to you probably can get that for the next 30 days. So you can go out and you can shop. If it's a quality property, you can probably get it. If you got a good buyer's market, interest rates are about to change. Some things are going to change. God knows we need more help in wholesaling with interest rates, but I think that's coming late this fall, early winter. So
yes,
just keep filling them in that pipeline, make sure they need to sell, and then do one good price check and just test them. Because in the beginning, I used to go from here all the way down to here, and you lose an hour, and you can't get that time back, and people will mess with you bad, and I don't want them to do that for you. So you got to kind of balance them out on those two things, and don't worry about 60, 80, 90%. If you bought it at 98% and sold it for another 5%, didn't pull any money out of your pocket, you're blessed. And that's all you really need to know in wholesaling. Okay?
Appreciate it, Rick. Thank you so much.
Okay, man. You got it, man. See you. Okay, guys. Let's see here. So hard motivation. He says here, I just finished high school. I want to do this. Really, I don't have an interest in college. You go to college or not, type of deal. It's It's not going to help your wholesaling. So, but do what you got to do with your parents. So, guys, listen. If you thought about this, think about this. This is what most of you are going to pay about 5 to 10 grand just to even get this. How to set up a wholesale operation. Guys, just start in the beginning. Go over to freewholesaling.com. I'll put it up here on the bottom. Go over there, our free school group. Connect with someone. Get it going, guys. You got this. Come on. Right here. Which part are you guys in? Deal 1, deal 5. Get the 30 deals. Or are you like Rick? I'm over 3,500 deals. I'm looking to cross that 4,000 threshold. I got a lot of work still to do this year. But when I get there, I just want to show you, I started with one deal. Just one deal. Here I am 23 years later. You guys can do the exact same. So guys, go out there and get them. I will be back on Thursday with Zach. Have a good one, man.